Today I'm going to unbox Hill of Doves from Legion Wargames, a game designed by Godfrey Bailey. This is dealing with the first Anglo-Boer War from 1880 to 1881. It really didn't go over, I don't think it was a full year. This was the shorter of the two more famous Boer Wars, the first Boer War and the second Boer War. One of the things that made me very interested in this topic is there's not a lot of games covering the Boer Wars, and I don't know if there's any games covering the first Anglo-Boer War. I have this one from Against the Odds that covers the second Boer War and does a fine job of that. But again, I'm not aware of any that really cover the first Boer War. So when I saw this, I think I saw like a banner on this, and I reached out to Legion and said, "Hey, I'm really interested in this, not only because of the topic, and if you guys follow any of my other videos, you know that I like having off the beaten path type of war game topics. I'm not sure, I like me some good Bulge and Gettysburg, but I really do like exploring the less covered battles and wars that there's not a lot of war games out there on. And so whenever I see a game that's covering a topic that's really not covered, or not covered very much, or not covered at all, that gets me excited, and I kind of want to dive into it. The other thing that was drew me to this one is it's solo. This is a solo play game. And so if you follow my channel, you know that I do play quite a bit of games solo. And so that interests me as well. So, we're hitting on all cylinders so far. So I reached out to Legion, and they were gracious to send me this copy. So, thank you very much. And I want to spend a time to, just a little bit of a few moments on Legion War Games, because there's some big war game companies out there. Of course, there's the GMTs of the world, and there's the Compass, which is growing ever bigger every day. There's some of the more established companies, or companies that have been around for a long time, that have picked up other people's titles like MMP and stuff like that. They're really kind of known for the ASL, but they do several series. Legion is one of those war game companies that is not a huge company, but they do a couple things right in my book. They are covering the less covered battles. This is something that comes in that came in the package with this, and talks about some of the games that they cover. And if you look on here, I mean, Pearl Harbor. I'm not sure if there's a fully developed game on Pearl Harbor out there. Splendid Little War is the Spanish-American War. B-29 Super Fortress solo game, and Hell Korea is the supplement for that. Toulon, again, one of Napoleon's first battles. He wasn't in charge of it, but he made had a major effect on that battle and on its outcome. That's covered. So I mean, Red vs. Reverse, again, that's dealing. That's another solo title, and has a different system than this. So as you can see here, there's a lot of stuff that Pickett's Duty, another solo game dealing with the kamikaze attacks around Okinawa during the end of World War II. Then they have their kind of American Indian series, Adobe Walls, Rosebud Creek, and Little Bighorn. The Maoran Wars, that's covered as much as the Bulge, right? No, not at all. So I mean, you can see here they have good quality games, good gameplay, which that's something that I just don't want a pretty package. I want something that actually plays well. But then a variety of topics. So kudos to Legion. They're doing something right. You guys probably should check them out, especially if you are liking games that are a little bit different and covering a little bit different topics. Definitely a company to check out in that regard, and they always give you a little thank you here. This is, again, a smaller game company with a little bit more attention to customer service. So let's get to Hills of Doves. This is a pretty hefty pack as you're going to get in here. This has mounted boards. I mean, come on. For a solo gamer, that's something that we'd love to see, or love to hear. At least I like to see. Let's take a look at the back here, and you can see example of the counters here. And again, this is a solo game, so you're going to have your forces, but you're going to have a lot of markers too, because there's probably charts or tracks to mark and keep track of your different forces and supplies and the like. And this is, as you can see, there's 3 maps here. This is an interesting, the way they do this. There's a strategic element to it. There's an operational element to it, and then there's a tactical element. So it's got, somewhat of all 3 levels or main levels of war games. I did a piece on that a while back. You can check out what we mean by levels or the like. But so it's got like a strategic, operational, and a tactical aspect. So that's interesting as well. There's also several card decks in here. Solo games are generally very procedural, right? I mean, you have to follow the order and procedure exactly, because that's going to tell you what you can do and what the AI can do and what all the housekeeping is. What they did here is, I believe what they did here is they took some of the kind of order of play cards that I think Stuka Joe has developed. He's developed several of those, and I think GMT is actually coming out with a deck of those for some of their games. Or like 3 or 4 or 5 decks of those for some of their games in one pack. But what they did, I believe they took that concept, but my understanding is that they have those order of play cards that you basically use during the game. I mean, you have your procedure, but the order of play cards are really kind of helping drive that procedure, so it's yet another player aid. So a lot of innovations here. The way this is laid out in 3 different maps is something that not a lot of solo games do. The way they're using the order of play cards, having mountain maps, and then on top of it, it's a topic that this might be one of the only, if not the first game covering the First Boer War. So let's get inside the box here. With all that, I mean, God, it better be good, right? So here we go. And standard Legion box. I mean, they're not the super thick, but they're fine. They're fine boxes there. You're going to get some baggies. We got to have the baggies there. Turn that over there. Got some baggies to keep your stuff in. You've got some more baggies and then a die there. Okay. Here are those cards, and I think there's several different decks. I might try to tear into those and see what we have there. Another thing that's interesting here is they're breaking it out into different books. You have your introductory book, which really this is what by its name is an introductory. This is an introduction to the system, talking about what the components are, what the event cards and the dice, and just kind of getting you familiar with the different components of this game and the different counters and what they might mean. It's glossy, full color, not densely packed with text. So, I mean, it's relatively easy to, kind of go through. This is, to me, looks like more of a reference. Then you have your breakdown of order of battle for the different factions. You have your background, and then you have, this is a poem here, written about the First Boer War there, and then you've got a map there. So introductory book, which is true to its name. It looks like it's definitely an introductory. It's kind of just covering, getting you familiar with some of the components. Then you have your rule book, and it's laid out. You've got your laid out in the different phases. You have a strategic phase, operational phase, and a tactical phase. Then you have battle, and I think battle can pop up either in the tactical or even in the operational, depending on maybe some of the events and what have you. So then you have your rules laid out. Here's the strategic phase, operational phase, and again, not a lot of rules there. I mean, that's only a couple pages for strategic, a few more for operational. Looks like operational might be a little bit more of record keeping and a little bit more to track. Then you have your tactical phase, and then your battle, and then the rest of this looks like it's dealing with how to deal with your battle. And so the rules there are only 15 pages. So again, not not overly complex there. Then you have an example of playbook. That's other companies do that. GMT is known for that, but this is interesting how it's laying out the example play. But it really is, using these cards, you know, these order of play cards, and how you use them in your order of in your play. So it's got a very detailed and graphic example of exactly where you put stuff, how you do stuff. I mean, so this is, you know, again, I haven't dove into this very much, but this looks very well done. I mean, this looks like I would probably want to, you know, go through the rules quickly and then go through this. Well, I'd probably go through the introductory, then the rules, then I'd go through this before I started playing, because this looks like it would really help me understand exactly how all these different, you know, charts work, or the different map boards work, and the interaction between them, and the like. So you've got a example of play that goes 20 pages, you know, that's full color and highly with a high level of detail on the graphics, and graphics that are for each of the different things that you do, telling you exactly where to place stuff. I mean, that's very well done. I mean, that I'm, you know, definitely going to use that before I probably dive into the game. Then you have your counter sheets, which is you have one counter sheets with your main counters here. Here's your different forces, and then you have a lot of markers here as well. And they are double-sided, or most of them are double-sided there. And then you have your, these are additional markers. This is like rounded counters. And again, they're double-sided as well. But those are some of your markers there. And then you get into the boards themselves. Let's crack into these boards. And as I said, there's 3 boards that come with it that are mounted boards. Let's move this stuff out of the way here. So this is this is an optional battle board. You don't have to use this, but like when you get into the battles, it gives you a battle board. So you can like lay out your forces on here, and has some charts and talks about battle movement. So you can actually do your individual battles here, you know, to help you lay them out and follow what rules you need for that. So I kind of like that. That's good. Then you have mounted board. This is the tactical board. Get that on there. I think I can get the whole thing on there. So you got your tactical board. Well, let's start. Let's lay them out in order of. Let's see, that is the true tactical board. Oh wow, I've got a potential issue here, because I have 2 tactical boards and 1 operational board. So I did not get the strategic board. So I'll ring them up and let them know I don't have the strategic board here. But you'd have a strategic board that's that you're basically trying to get from the coast into this operational center, and then you're going to run all your operations from this fort. Well, you're going to try to get supplies up to this fort, and then you run all your main tactical operations out of this fort here, which is on this board here. You kind of go out from here. And one of the victory conditions is if you own all 10 of these locations, including your camp and then their 9 Boer locations, that's a way, I think, for automatic victory. And then, of course, you have all your charts and you know, your tracks and your charts that are specific to this board. You have some orders over here. You have a British holding box. So yeah, so that is, these aren't double-sided, but they are mounted. So yeah, I'm missing a board, so I'm gonna have to reach out to them on that. Then you have your operational board, which again, you're tracking a lot of supplies. This is running supplies up to here, so you can actually, you know, run your campaign into the tactical campaign into the Boer region or the Transvaal region. And then there can be attacks or ambushes along here. So that's why, you know, you can actually have battles that come out of the operational board, because you can have ambushes and the like here. But and again, you have your load wagons table, British movement. So this is, again, more logistics and operational type issues are probably tracked on this board, and kind of where the supplies are. And then you have more of the battle stuff's going to be on tactical. And I don't have the strategic, so yeah, there you go. That's going to be more, by its name, strategic. You're trying to get, you know, from the coast into this region, so you can start, you know, supplying your forces and doing the combat there. So yeah, threw me for a loop a little bit with that. And get these decks open here so you can take a look at the decks. And I think the decks are, I believe she'll only have 2 decks, so hopefully I've got everything there. So you've got events. This is the events deck here. So you can see that. And it's got some images on it. It's got a title, and then it's got some text of what happens. So, I mean, somewhat interesting or true to the history of it. I always like games where, that's why I play these games, right? Is to learn the history. And so there's going to be, you know, some historical significance of some of these events and how they play in there. So that's your events deck. I'm going to get this other deck open before I get to the, so I can look at everything at once here. So, so you have this looks like this is the ambush deck. Got a little bit of static on me there. This is the ambush deck. And it kind of walks you through, and maybe this is like the different stages. Again, this might be like that order of play deck. So this is 1 down to 12, and how you would go through an ambush. So there's the kind of the procedure for ambush. You've got strategic deck, 1 through 6. So those are the 6 different aspects of the strategic, and it tells you the rule number there as well that that you refer to. So that would walk you through the strategic aspect of the game. Then you have your operational deck, which has 1 through 18, a little bit more involved segment, and it's going to walk you through and have you like here's the weather segment, and here's, you know, how you roll on the weather table. And so it's not only does it have like the rules here, but it also has the rule reference. So if you want to get to the full detail, you can just pull up the rule booklet and go in there. But you know, this is different than having like a big chart, you know, having all the charts everywhere of what is the sequence of play. You've got it on these cards here. So that is the operational, and then you have the tactical, which is, ooh, so that continues on. Let's see, 14. So unless I'm missing a deck, oh, there we go. 1, there we go, 1 through 13, and then 14, yeah, so 1 through 20. So there's 20 phases in the tactical segment. And again, that's that smaller, that's that board where you're actually, you know, engaging the bowers and conducting combat. So this goes through, and again, it has the, you know, what you do there, what tables to look at, and so it just kind of walks you through the whole thing. So if you're a fan of like Stuka Joe's cards, then I mean, this is probably old hat for you and something you're familiar with. But this is kind of a new thing here, and the way that they've outlined it in the book, they refer to these cards as well. So they're both intertwined on how they're doing it. So this really is kind of the driver of the game, are these order of play decks. So there you have it. That is what you get in a box of Hill of Doves. Or at least that's what I got in my box of Hill of Doves. I need to check out, send a little email to the good folks at Legion and try to get the other map. But you know, I'm sure it was a one-off thing. But this looks very interesting. As I said, for all the things I was saying before I opened it, and then as I was going through it, this looks very interesting. And for people that are interested in this time period, or interested, people that like solo games, or people that like different kind of, you know, new mechanics or features to solo games, this is something you probably really want to check out there. So that is Hill of Doves, a game designed by Godfrey Bailey. What are you guys' thoughts on this? What do you girls and gals, what do you guys think of all this? Is this something that's interesting you? How do you think of where Legion's going with some of their games? And I do think they're basically blazing a different and unique path than some of the other wargaming companies out there, and I'm kind of excited to see where they take it. So anyway, love to see your comments, love to hear your comments. What do you guys think? But most importantly, and as always, hey, thanks for spending some time with me. Thanks for watching.